Every one of us owns them, just in case items. And even for an extreme lifestyle like a one-bag life, you will definitely have a few of them. That's why this video is all about how you can handle all these just-in-case items, especially for an extreme lifestyle like a one-bag life. And at the end of the video, I will give you my best tip on what just-in-case items are maybe even useful, and you should definitely keep them for every kind of lifestyle, even if you're not pursuing a one-bag life. So don't miss out. For all of you who are new to my channel, I'm Sven, just an extreme minimalist with less than 150 possessions, whose biggest desire is to live his whole life out of just one carry-on sized backpack. So if you end up liking the video, don't forget to subscribe and like, but most important, leave a comment with your thoughts at the end of the video and join me on my way to a true one-bag life and to find out how an extreme minimalist lifestyle looks like. So let's get started. If you would go through all the things that you currently own, how many just-in-case items would you have? And do you actually would need all of these just-in-case items, or do you just have these to be prepared for the right situation or for the right moment? These are the questions that I asked myself when I became a minimalist years ago. And with then the transition to extreme minimalism and now a one-bag life, I just ask these questions much more often than before. And after some time, I realized that most of the items that we are carrying are actually just-in-case items. So how to handle these items is a very, very important thing to know, especially when you want to pursue an extreme lifestyle like a one-bag life. But now let me explain how I personally handle all my just-in-case items for an extreme lifestyle like a one-bag life. Before we talk about actual tips how to handle all your just-in-case items, I think you should first find out what actually are your just-in-case items. And in my opinion, that is pretty easy. As I already mentioned, I think maybe 90 or 95% of the things that you own are actually just-in-case items. And my time spent to evaluate if it's a just-in-case item or not is maybe everything that you won't use on a weekly basis will be most likely a just-in-case item. Maybe most of the things in your toolbox that you will have in your garage are just-in-case items because you just use them maybe once or twice a year. Or maybe the pots and pans that you only use for family dinners. Or even the equipment, the tools for your hobby that you maybe pursue once or twice a year. So as I said, before actually applying tips, you should definitely find out what are your just-in-case items. And I would say everything you won't use on a weekly basis are a just-in-case item for the moment. And now it's actually time to handle all these just-in-case items. And the first thing that I always do is try to find a multi-purpose item for all the things that I haven't used in, as I said, weekly or maybe monthly basis. So maybe it's a little small multi-tool that will have maybe 90% of the things that you would use in your heavy toolbox in your garage. So maybe you can get rid of the toolbox and just use the multi-tool. Or maybe it's a multi-purpose pan of some sort. I don't know if something like that even exists, but maybe it can replace some of your plates and everything you would need for a fancy family dinner just with one or two items. So I can promise you, even with that very, very simple step, that you will know, or you will get to know, that you will need a lot less of these just-in-case items that you would have before. The next step will be a little bit controversial, to be honest, but when you try it for yourself, I promise you, you will definitely see the benefits of it. And that is to get rid of every just-in-case item that you could possibly rent for another reason. So maybe it's the very expensive tool that you have in your garage and you use it maybe once or twice a year to do a very special job. Or the equipment for your favorite hobby that you maybe pursue once or twice a year, which is very expensive. So if you think clearly about it, the price that these products will cost you if you buy them in comparison to how often you will use them is much, much higher than you think. And in most cases, you will find a shop or some kind of, online shop where you can rent these tools for the time that you will actually need them. So maybe for your next holiday, or maybe for the next project you want to do in your home. So as I said, after finding all the multi-tools, try to get rid of everything that you can rent that you maybe use once or twice or 3 times a year, because it will save you a lot of money in the long term and a lot of stress, and you will definitely see that you won't need most of these things. by now you already should have gotten rid of a lot of your just-in-case items. And now it's actually time to declutter the rest. So for me personally, everything I haven't used for 6 months, or in some cases, especially if it's like a seasonal item, if I haven't used it for 12 months or a year, I will definitely get rid of it. So maybe it's a bed liner that you bought, used maybe once or twice, or maybe it's the Halloween decoration that you have in your garage sitting there for over a year. I definitely think that things that you haven't used for 6 months, or seasonal items that you haven't used for 12 months, in most cases you will never use them again. So in my opinion, these are also just-in-case items that you should definitely get rid of immediately. And now to the only point where I would say buying a just-in-case items is the right decision. And that is a very specific situation where you can't do other things or rent other things or get other things from other persons, and you definitely need to buy something. So if you have a very specific situation that can only be solved by buying one very, very specific thing that can, as I said, not be rented somewhere else, then you can buy these just-in-case items. And I personally would say after you used it, because it's a very, very special situation that you use it in, you should definitely get rid of it again. If you sell it, if you donate it, no matter what it is, because most likely these very special situations won't appear often enough to have these items for your long term. So in my personal opinion, this is the only reason when you should buy just-in-case items. And lastly, evaluate all your leftover just-in-case items, I would say every 6 to 12 months. So for me personally, I don't evaluate every month all the just-in-case items because some, as I already mentioned, are maybe seasonal just-in-case items. So just make sure that you leave enough time to find out if you really need that item or if you don't. So as I said, 6 to 12 months for seasonal items are a long enough time span, in my opinion, to find out how often you use it. And if you use it not weekly, then you know it's most likely a just-in-case item, and then it's time for you to go through the steps before and find out if you should keep it or you will get rid of it. As you can see, it's actually pretty easy to decide how to handle all these just-in-case items that you will have in your life. For me personally, this way makes it much easier to find out what is actually a just-in-case item and realize that, as I said in the beginning, most of your items that you will carry are actually just-in-case items and you don't need most of them. Just as I already mentioned, for emergency situations, there are definitely some space that I would sacrifice in my own bag in a one-bag life for some just-in-case items if I need them in a very specific situation. But now that you know how I personally handle my just-in-case items for an extreme lifestyle like a one-bag life, here is my best tip on what just-in-case items are actually worth owning for every kind of lifestyle, even if you're not pursuing a one-bag life. For me, it is definitely something I already mentioned twice before now, and that are items for an emergency situation. And let me make that clear. I know that an emergency situation is different for every one of you. It depends on where you live and how maybe your general lifestyle looks like, but I always talk about emergency situations when it comes to natural disasters, maybe to your own health or when you are getting injured by someone else. So these are emergency situations where you definitely should be prepared and have always just-in-case items, because at some point you will have to make a decision on a very fast basis, especially when, as I said, it comes to maybe a natural disaster that maybe could happen in your region or in your life. You will definitely want to have all the things that you would need to pack maybe in a bag or in a small sling to always have with you when that natural disaster strikes. And the same thing goes for injuries or for your health. When you have a certain health condition or you know it could happen to you sometimes when you do like extreme sport or something else, always have these just-in-case items when it comes to medication or anything else you would personally need, because you want to have them always on your person and very quickly accessible. So these are, in my opinion, the only just-in-case items that are definitely worth owning, especially when you need to make very fast decisions and don't have the time to run to the next shop because you need to decide right now what to do and what to carry. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and like. But most important, share a comment with the way how you handle your personal just-in-case items. The next video will be about the fact that a one-bag life is much less extreme than you would think right now. In the meantime, you can watch my last video where I show you the things that will make a one-bag life much easier than you think right now. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.